The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki. Hello, here I am. It's the Nikki Glaser Podcast. Welcome to Thursday's episode. Andrew Collin is here with his basketball, tossing it around like boys do. Whoa, alley-oop.
That's still got it.
Still got it.
Crystal Pete.
Yeah, very Globetrotter-esque in the sense that you'll never play pro. So also with us today is my boyfriend, the star, one of the stars of The Courtney Show. Oh my God, on 106.5 The Arch in St. Louis. You can also check it out on The Courtney Show podcast, anywhere you get your podcast daily. Jesus Christ, you two. I'm just having to, I feel like a kindergarten teacher. Yeah,
I'm so happy to be here. I love
Chris
hanging out
Convy.
with you guys.
Love having you here. Thank you for coming back again.
Thank you,
You
of
already
course.
did a 4-hour radio show today and every day this week.
Yeah,
And
that is true.
Yeah.
But I just like seeing you guys, and I love Noah.
Yeah. The fans like you. I've noticed.
We're not
like I
as
said,
corporate here.
Yeah.
You don't have to, you could let loose.
Yeah, you could play basketball inside.
I don't think I'd have
They
you
don't
back
like
if
you?
they didn't like you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I
If
would.
people weren't a little supportive.
Yeah, if you weren't good at this, I don't think I would, And if you didn't enjoy it, that's another thing.
I
You
love
seem
it.
to enjoy it.
I love it, and I just try to, you guys are obviously professional comedians, and you're very funny, so I just try to have fun with you, stay out of your way a little bit.
You've got some good lines, though. You had some of the best ones. You're learning. We went to go see Dan Mintz the other night, as we talked
my
about,
God.
and that was like a joke. Because sometimes Chris is like, "Will you teach me how to write like a great joke? Like, there's got to be a formula for it." And Chris is he's so good at wanting to like learn and appreciating like the work that goes into something. And so we went to see Dan Mintz, and it was like we learned. Even I learned how a new I was even today thinking about the Kimmel monologue. And you got to write jokes like that, very short jokes like Dan Mintz's. He has a joke for everything. He told 200 jokes at night. I talked to him after the show. He goes, someone asked, how many jokes do you tell in a night? And I guessed 81. And he was like, 200. And I was like, oh man, do I do this professionally?
How many times does he switch it up too? And how does he do a new hour every time? 200
Well,
jokes?
I was waiting for old jokes that I'd heard before, and I only heard like 2 repeat jokes.
Damn.
That you can Google and find, but the rest.
I mean, he's extraordinarily talented, but I think once you're in this mindset and you're as smart and clever as he is, he's like a machine with them.
That's true.
You can we realize you can kind of, he's
and memorizing
brilliant at
wise, it's just
but
one
his
line.
technique, if
Yeah.
you want to know, is taking a saying that everyone says, like a pack-a-day habit, or like a turn of phrase that we use a lot. You might call it an adage, a maxim, a axiom. These are different
Axiom, yeah.
words that we learned in
Idiom.
An idiom.
Yes.
These are all crossword things where it's like an old saying, and it's either axiom, ADAGE, which I don't know how to pronounce that.
I think it's adage.
Adage? Oh,
An
yeah,
old
adage.
adage.
I always say adage.
Yeah, I don't know any of those words.
Adage.
Belgian French of you.
But yeah, you take a common saying and you flip it, or
Yes.
you go to left turn. So whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, you take something that everyone knows, and then you flip it. So you can do it with really anything. His are just we were saying probably the percentage of ones that are brilliant, where you go, 25%, which is a high batting average.
It's crazy. High batting
for
average.
a brilliant joke where I
Yeah.
could never see it coming.
Yeah.
And then probably, the maybe 10% are like, what? It was probably a new joke, and then the rest are like, oh fuck, that's good. So it was really, he's just so great.
Do you do this, Andrew? Because we're enjoying the show immensely, but at some point your brain switches and you're trying to predict the
I
joke
mean,
a little.
especially with one-liners. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the fun of it. Is like, what is the punchline? And was I right? And then you don't laugh. You're just like, you're calculating. You kind of look like it's just figuring out an equation at that point. So it kind of loses. But I find people, they laugh so hard, even if they don't get the joke with jokes like that. Like, I remember I saw Dimitri Martin, and people are like, they would look around to know whether to laugh or not because they don't get the joke.
Yeah,
Like
some were over people's heads.
Yeah. That
and
happens too.
I hate when they laugh at the setup, because sometimes the setup is funny, where he's like, I slept with 100 girls in college, and people would laugh, and it's like, that's not, you're not got it yet. Let him you know what I mean? It is funny just to say that, but there were a lot of times that people, I really think, thought the joke was the first part. And I'm like,
Yes.
haven't you already heard 81 of these jokes and know that the
Right.
first part is not the funny part yet?
You know what I love about those shows? He kind of messed one joke up.
The snakeskin one?
The snakeskin
Yeah.
one. He just, the slightest mess up. But, I've seen Nikki do it in like her, even like her special taping. She had like a hair like that was out of the way. And I was like, we got to fix that. Anytime where the audience, where you break the cadence of the show and then you have a moment with the audience. I loved, he had a moment with the audience.
Yes, and
everybody got,
That's why I remember that joke.
laughing so hard
Yeah.
the whole time. But then they cared about him like a little bit extra. And I
'Cause
kind of
he
like those
showed a-
real moments.
Human side.
Yeah.
It's really important to have that.
I
It's a
started
good point.
doing one-line. When I started stand-up, I did one-liners.
Give us some of them.
And I did it with a Wookiee while he played slide guitar. He was
A
like
guy that
7
dressed
feet
like a
tall. He dressed
How did
like
he have
Chewbacca.
his fingers on the guitar?
He cut the. I go. Can you play guitar in the Wookiee costume? And he goes, I'll cut the gloves. Like he said it like. Obviously,
yeah.
I've been thinking about this forever.
You just cut the gloves. It's a common thing that people at Guitar Center talk about.
Yeah, Zach Galifianakis, Purple Onion.
Yeah.
Was like my favorite. I was like, I want music. I'm not good enough at music. My buddy Crapo can play. And he always dressed like a Wookiee. I was like, what if he wore it on stage? I didn't address it. And I just did one-liners to his guitar playing.
Some of your one-liners were fucking great. Give us some of your best.
My best one, I think, is I have a wonderful memory of skipping rocks and going straight to needles.
Nice.
It's just one of those that
Yeah.
is just like, and then,
But I gotta say,
yeah.
are rocks cocaine in that situation? Like once you say needles, are we supposed to think that the original thing you were gonna say was because you don't?
Rocks is crack cocaine.
Okay, then that makes sense.
Yeah.
I always thought like, why is he skipping? Like, what was
Because
he doing
you
with
smoke
rocks?
rocks,
Well, now I
obviously.
get it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
No, that's great.
But I eventually, the Wookiee quit because he fell in love.
That's how you lose people.
It was a
It's-
very
you got a
Yoko
Yoko.
Ono.
Oh, man.
It was a Yoko Wookiee, a Wookiee Yoki.
What?
And
He met
like,
Jar Jar Binks.
dude, we'd go to open mics and he'd put this Wookiee costume on and it's 100 degrees in Florida and we're doing it for 3 people in a fish tank. And he's just like, I don't think this is really for
Yeah,
me.
you guys were
know?
never gonna.
And he's not getting the laughs. You're getting all the laughs.
And are you splitting any
But I
of
let
the
the
money you
Wookiee
weren't
tell
making with him?
one liner. The Wookiee would come up and go, "Ding, ding, whoa, 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 whoa," and it would cry like
Yeah.
it would cry. So I'd give him a little bit of the spotlight. So, anyways, long story short, I had a character named Andy Shallows. I wore my grandpa's hat. I had a mustache, a real mustache, and I would do these.
All because you didn't want to be yourself, right? Like you didn't have enough confidence in yourself. You had to invent a character.
Yeah, I guess so. And it works so well that it's hard to, I remember the head of
But why
the
even do
improv be like, you could skip hosting and go straight to featuring. I was like, who's going to host with a Wookiee? Like, that's a weird
Well,
host. Like, how you guys doing tonight?
The first time you did Andy Shallows, why did you choose that instead of going up as yourself?
I guess that was because Shallow Thoughts, it was the opposite of Deep Thoughts.
Jack Handy kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. Oh, I like that.
So I quit. So Wookiee quits the band, but then I just go up, no music, and just try to do these one-liners without the like.
I mean, even Mitch Hedberg, that one special had the boom, 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 boom.
Oh, yeah.
like his
Yeah.
buddy on the bass.
And I bombed. Like, I was bombing so hard and the jokes weren't hitting. And then with one-liners, the scary part is there's so much silence. And this old man, after each joke, was like, that's all right. That one was okay. I don't know about that one. That one was good, I guess. And every joke. And I'm like, really new and I didn't know what to do. And finally, I broke this, like, I have a wonderful, and I go, look, you motherfucker, if you keep fucking doing this, I'm going to come down there and I'm going to fucking beat your old ass. And then I was like, anyhow.
Did that kill?
No, they pulled me aside. They go, you'll never work this club again if you threaten.
Our patrons. He was Simon Cowling you.
But I tried. I guess the whole point of the story is I tried to get back into that character. And if you're not talented, you can't
Right.
break it. Like Mintz broke that rhythm.
He is Dan Mintz up there.
Yeah,
like he
yeah.
does talk like that. Even the character Tina Belcher that he plays on Bob's Burgers. I was telling Chris because he's never seen Bob's Burgers.
Me neither.
He does the same voice. His voice is his voice. He doesn't,
Gotcha.
and he does the voice of a girl. But it's that's why it's funny, and the way he talks is funny. It really is It was so for me when I watch Veep, when I watch 30 Rock, when I go see Dan Mintz, when I see a great comic that has just tons of jokes. Man, it makes me better. Like I
For sure.
The next set I did, I wrote when I was sitting there next to you when during Tim's set, I wrote like 3 jokes at least that I did on stage that worked so well that they're gonna be. You could see them in Vegas, September 2nd, at the Virgin Hotels Casino. I don't know where it is, but just look at my Instagram. Please go to that show. It's going to be so fun, and it will be the last show I perform with my voice that you know now.
I mean, you're so good at left turn jokes. Like,
Well, one-liners were my first thing too.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to start for any comic. Like, depending on who you admire. When I got into it, Sarah Silverman and Mitch Hedberg, Wendy Liebman. These were the people that I enjoyed because you could back then there was no YouTube yet, so seeing videos, they were sparse, but also you could quote them and they would be Dimitri Martin, also one of my favorites, and Zach Galifianakis, Purple Onion. If you guys haven't seen that, which I think we have like a lot of young listeners that maybe missed that, and Zach is just the guy from The Hangover, or like maybe you don't even know him because he's been out of movies for a while. One of the best comics ever, had some of the best jokes. One time I saw him on stage in Montreal live. I got to open for him. It was one of the biggest moments of my career. 2007.
Did you do well?
Because I was there
and then he
doing
asked
New
you?
Faces. No, they were just when you were there for New Faces, which is Emil just went this past summer. You're like, it's your debut in the industry. It's a huge comedy festival. There are headliners doing shows, and they need openers, and so they choose from the New Faces.
Have you told your New Faces joke from that year?
No, I don't think so.
On this podcast?
I should. Yeah.
Can you? It's
that was one of my best one-liners. But on that Zach Galifianakis show, one of the bits that I saw that I never saw him do again, I think on a taped thing, was he stops during the middle of his jokes and he goes, I'm sorry, I'm getting a call. And he pulls out an Altoids can and he flips it. This was during flip phones. This is 2007. He flips it open. They just spill all over the stage. And he's like, hello? And it's such a funny bit that they would fly everywhere. It was so good. And he was dressed like Annie for that, I remember. My joke that I did in Montreal, I remember Robbie Pra, who was the head of, he now works at Netflix and is the arbiter of deciding who gets specials. And so he's a very powerful person, was even then, gave people New Faces. So nice, such a nice guy. Always was like a really good champion of mine and still is. And he told me, hey, this joke that you do, that you audition with, that is going to be the crux of your set. I think it was my opener. The joke was, do you guys know that there's this website where you can type in your zip code or your area code or your zip code, and it gives you a list of every sexual offender in your area? Match.com. It was that. I think I said, did I say MySpace? I think I said MySpace.com. At the time that was and
it's a great joke.
He goes, in Canada, it's Facebook now. That's what we're using. No one uses, like, it's going to be. And to me, Facebook, I just couldn't wrap my head around how that would be a social. It was so about just college kids at that point in the US.
You don't think pedophile with college kids either.
Yes. He was, but what I didn't know is that in Canada, it was MySpace, and I should have trusted him, because
Facebook?
It was Facebook. Yeah. Facebook was like MySpace in Canada. And I just should have trusted him, and it just set me up to do, because that joke usually hit so fucking well in the States that it was, honestly, from the first time I told it, never once got anything other than huge laughs. And it was the first time there on my biggest show of my life where it just gets nothing. Ugh. And then it's like panic mode. And like every other joke after that was just like, oh God, what am I going to do? But yeah, my first jokes were all
especially
one-liners.
when it's a joke that hits every time and it doesn't hit.
Yeah.
If you're a newer comic, you could see it on the face of defeat, and you just go, and they always go, oh boy. Or they'll literally mouth
that's
something.
The save. If I would have said, oh boy, that I would have killed.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I would have just called out that it was bad, like you said.
Oh, well, even at the Funny Bone the other night, you were just like, well, that joke needs more work. And
it's
then
such an
people were
easy
laughing
out.
at that. But you've got to tell the story about when you came back from New Faces.
Oh God! My God! This was so brutal, and this was funny because we're in Chris and I are in Montreal. We're backstage with Pete Holmes, Natasha Leggero, Moshe Kasher.
This is the current, recent.
Yes, recent one.
Yeah.
And we haven't been together that long, so
in your heart.
Yeah, he was always there in my heart. But
he was actually there.
We're backstage. It was such a fun hang, by the way. I loved it so much because we sit down and Pete Holmes immediately goes, "Who is this?" What was the word he said? I hate to repeat your own compliment, but he said, "What's a word for when it's like comes easy to you?" naturally or like easily.
Effortless?
He goes, who is this effortlessly handsome man? And I was just like, yes, this is my boyfriend, Chris.
And the irony of that was, he was like, I think he said, who's this effortlessly handsome man in a white t-shirt?
Yeah.
And the irony is, I had just steamed the t-shirt in Nikki's dressing room.
That was so funny.
It's like,
And
Chris
Nikki's
had to
like, I
put
just
on-
haven't put my makeup on yet.
yeah.
Chris had to put on, what did you wear on top of it? You were wearing, they asked me if I wanted to steam my outfit for this performance. And so the wardrobe person takes mine, and Chris is in the room with me, and he goes, is this so weird? Can I ask? She was really nice, and he was like, I just put this on. It was all wrinkled.
It was crumbled from traveling. It was in
You need
the
a
luggage.
steam.
Yeah. And so he goes, would it be weird? And I go, please ask. Like, you got to do it. So he takes off his shirt. She's steaming it. And he puts on my oversized denim jacket. And I think you did one button.
Yeah.
And then Natasha and Moshe come in the room. And I've forgotten that he's dressed like this.
Oh my God, this is your wig
This
moment.
is exactly like when you were wearing the thing.
It's my first impression.
Yeah. And so he's wearing
You
this.
could pull it off though. You have you can pull it
And
off.
if anything, Moshe was like, man, I really like
Yeah.
that look. Like Moshe
Yes.
dresses like
yeah,
that
Moshe's
kind of-
like, wow, one button?
Yeah.
Yeah. What have I done?
It was, and then there was another moment the other day. Oh, you were wearing bike
Wait, so
attire.
how did you respond? Did you mention it or did you?
Yeah, I mean, I think under the, like, without knowing me,
Because
if
it's
he
not
sees me-
crazy enough.
It's just crazy enough that he might think I'm the coolest
Yes.
person alive. Because without knowing me, you'd be like, man, this guy could be really cool.
Yeah, dude.
But then I was like, this isn't what I dress like.
Yes.
This is the first time meeting you. I don't dress with one button on a girlfriend's jean jacket.
And as soon as I looked at him, I go, oh my God, he's having his shirt steamed.
Yeah.
Because I didn't.
Which things just keep getting worse. And I love Moshe. Like, he doesn't know me. I met him once before, and I think they're so
Yeah,
funny.
they were both on our show, Not Safe. So Chris has met Pete Holmes.
And they gave
He's
us
met
COVID,
Natasha.
so they got to be nice to
they
us.
keep apologizing for that too.
I'm sure.
I'm sorry I gave you COVID. Doll, I'm really sorry. It's not a great Natasha, but it's a try. And so we're backstage, and so this guy comes in, Josh Lieberman. He's an agent, I believe. Yeah, maybe an agent. And I've known him since 2007. He used to rep my friend Chris Porter, who I was really good friends with then. And we were always hanging out with Josh, and he was his agent. And I see Josh, Josh was in Montreal, 2007. And also in 2007, I was. Are you getting that low for this story?
Getting low.
What is this the proposal happening right now? Oh, Chris,
I'm gonna
not
get to it. It's
here.
going to take a lot longer.
You're gonna pose like
Yeah.
that. It's not even on one knee.
Well,
You're
this
on
is
one
like Tony,
ankle.
This is like Tony Pena. He was a catcher for the Cardinals, and he would catch like this.
Oh, that's cool.
Every other catcher did it like this. Do you remember this guy?
Yeah, of course.
This is the coolest.
That's
What about the
cool.
one dude that would throw people out at
Oh, God.
second from his
Mike's
knees?
Hijacked by sports.
He was a baseball
Continue.
player. He played for the Marlins, Spanish catcher. He would throw from his
Are you
knees.
looking at me like I know?
No, I don't
Okay.
know why.
He'd throw from his knees? What do you mean by that?
Santiago, something.
All right, we got to go to break, and we'll be right back with the rest of this story. Andrew! Where in the world is that guy named Santiago?
It was like a big thing. But anyhow, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So, welcome back to the show. I'm in Montreal. We're backstage.
Chris just proposed, by the way. It was wild.
Yeah,
Nikki said maybe.
Yeah, I said I'd think about it. And I give him an answer in 4 weeks when I can talk again. I really went out 3 weeks to think about this. And so
It would be so
You could
funny.
just nod. You don't.
yeah, I feel like you deserve a verbal.
You could write it down on a piece of paper.
I don't know.
Something wrong
I don't
with-
have any pens.
She just
here.
writes back, get a bigger ring. It's like, that seems, she's writing for a while. Yes. Yes feels long.
I just write out the directions to Jared.
That's.
Why? Please don't go to Jared when you give me a ring. I don't even know what kind of ring I'd want. I think I really
Is that
want
Subway
something.
for a salad?
You got to go to Shane Company. ShaneCo.com.
Yeah. The Shane Company at the
Shane
corner of
Wayne's
I-17.
specials. coming
You've got to
Oh, yeah.
see what the owner of Shane Company looks like. You
Does he
wouldn't
look
believe
like the
it.
guy from Men's Warehouse?
Wait,
No,
what's Shane
he's like
Company?
Shane Company
he's
is
like
this
handsome.
But by the way, I think Shane Company is it's like cross country. Because
Oh, it
I've been
is?
in other markets and I've heard the Shane Company
Oh, I didn't know that.
at the corner of Highway
Lafayette
270.
and- yeah.
and Lee May Ferry. So we're
Montreal.
backstage.
Okay,
And this guy, Josh Lieberman, who was an agent that was in Montreal with me, he pops his head in the room, and I am triggered because I have not seen this guy since 2007 when I got back from Montreal. Montreal for me, nearly broke my hand. I was pursuing a guy who didn't like me and confessed my attraction to him. He rejected me on the dance floor. It was very awkward. I was drunk the whole time. My set did not go well. I was deeply anorexic because I was so nervous about it that I was like working out too much, trying to control things. And like I got there, I looked like a skeleton. Things were going well. No one remembered me from the New Faces.
Can
And
I ask
I
you
was
one
broke
question?
at the time, and I was temping, and it was just terrible.
When you opened for Galifianakis, did you do the joke again and do it with Facebook?
No, I probably just dropped it from my set because I still didn't trust. But now, as a more experienced comedian, I know it would have worked.
Okay, so anyways, go ahead.
I should just trust people.
I
that
was just
know
wondering
you.
if there was a redemption.
Yeah, when I
story
go
there.
to when I go to Canada, I now change it. I don't say CVS, I say Shoppers. I don't say fourth grade, I say grade 4. Things like that. I make little adjustments. I don't say fries with gravy on it and cheese curds. I say poutine. I don't say what's our other things? Anyway, so I don't say about, I say a boot. I don't say Toronto, I say Toronto. I've learned. So Josh Lieberman pokes his head in and I'm like, oh my God, this reminds me. I go, Josh, I gotta tell you, you're a part of one of the most eye-opening moments of my life. I go 2007, I'm there. That's my story of Montreal. I come back. And I don't know that I've done as poorly as I've done. It's just I was drunk. I was too drunk to really notice.
People need to know the lineup that you were on. I mean, it was.
That's why I always tell people that are like, I want to go to New Faces. It's every young comic's dream. I'm always like, every year you're rejected. You are going to be so much better when you finally go. You want to be the best there. You want to be the oldest. The comic that has the most years under the belt, because no one goes, look at this old guy on stage. They just go, wow, he blew everyone out of the water. Everyone else looks like amateurs. So I was on with Kurt Metzger, Tommy Johnigan, Amy Schumer,
Tom Segura.
Oh
my God.
and then this other guy that's like the number one most famous person in the UK. He's like, I forget his name now, but he was huge even then. So I was completely forgettable in the lineup. Tom Papa was our MC. I remember that. And he wasn't a new face, but he's just,
He's an old face helping.
Yeah, he's an old face helping out in his fedora. But I see Josh and I go, Josh. And I was almost reluctant to tell Josh the story because it was such an it was almost the example that we talked about yesterday of someone telling a story where they are clearly not a nice person and they don't notice that in the story, like it was me kind of being like, you were an asshole but he didn't mean to. And I've changed, he's changed, probably don't know. He's still an agent, probably not. So he pops his head in and I go, Josh, and we're about to go do this crowd work show. We're all kind of nervous. I'm like, I got to tell this story. So we're at the Improv. It's the week after we get back from Montreal. And I'm still kind of like, did anyone care about me being there? Like I didn't bomb, but it wasn't great. And there's a sneaking suspicion in me I might have done well. Like I would just have bad self-esteem and I was drunk the whole time and I was more worried about this guy or whatever. So I am in this circle. I remember it was Chris Porter, who was like a big deal at the time. And then Josh, his manager, and then some other big people, maybe Dave Attell, maybe Dimitri Martin. There was one night at the Improv where like Doug Benson, a big circle of like people I want to look impressive in front of, people I feel like an idiot even being in the same circle as. And Josh, something about Montreal came up and Josh goes, guys, you should have seen Nikki Glaser at Montreal. She was so drunk. And I thought I was almost starting to get verklempt at so. I was like, Josh, stop.
She
and he
was
goes, she was so wasted. That wasted is what he said. And I was crestfallen. It was
Because you thought he was going to say she was so amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
She
the way
was-
he started was like, guys, stop everything.
Yes.
You need to hear. She blew me away with how fucking wasted she was. And it was devastating. It was one of those moments
How
as
did
someone
the comics
who quit
respond though?
drinking.
Because I could feel like comics liking that story.
I blacked out. That's when I, like, from embarrassment.
Oh.
I couldn't even, I
Because
mean,
couldn't
that,
you see comics being like, you got fucked up, and you're like, experienced comics would be like, you got fucked up at New Faces that much. That's kind
no,
of funny.
everyone's wasted at Montreal. Like,
Yeah.
and he was talking about like after parties. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It just
I'm
was
just
one of
trying to
those,
think
it was
if there
the
was any
first time I had
positive.
heard about how ridiculous and like that me when I was, because when you're drinking, you don't know how dumb you are and how you come across
Especially when
other
you're
people.
around everyone else
thinks
drinking.
they're the exception, that they're not as annoying as literally every other person you've ever seen that's drunk is annoying. You are that way too.
Did
and
you
I thought I
see
was the
Hannah
exception.
Berner's Instagram? She just went to a wedding and she had people say like hi to
I love
her.
this bit. Hi, this is my first drink of the night, and then hi, this is my last drink of the
yeah.
night. And it is.
Yeah, I've
it's-
seen
we got to
those.
start doing those
People
videos
are doing those,
at
and
things.
yeah, they're so funny.
I don't care if it's been done a ton of times. Keep them coming. They are so
Yeah.
funny, and they really give a lot of focus to how bad you look when you're drunk. And that was the first time it had occurred to me that like I might not be the best thing to be around when I'm drunk. It might be notable. And then there were several other, but that was the one that I go, I'm going to have to quit doing this at some point. You know, like where you just go, I know I'm going to have to let go of this at some point. It was that moment in a relationship where you go, we're not going to make it, you know, like where it's like, it's not now. I haven't felt that way with you in a couple months, but, you know, that moment where you go, I'm going to have to,
loved it.
I'm going to have to leave this job. I'm going to have to, like, you just know the moment you know. Taylor Swift wrote a song about it. It was when Jake Gyllenhaal didn't show up to her 21st birthday. It was called The Moment She Knew. And
How old was he?
He was probably 32.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. But he, her dad, you know, she references it not only in that song, but then again in the extended version of All Too Well. She was like, you said like you went to dad with, and I blew out my candles and I stared at the door waiting you to come. And my dad said, it should be fun turning 21.
Yeah.
And it's like she couldn't have fun at her own birthday because this guy. And then in the song, The Moment I Knew, she's talking about that birthday scene, which is a very cool callback that an artist will rewrite a song, add new lyrics that reference a scene that you know very well from another song in a different perspective of it. That is very good.
It would be funny to do like a version of her songs, but actually be very literal about, because she's always like, who is it?
Yeah.
Who could it be? And it's like,
well,
no,
Dear John is not
Dear
pulling
John's
any punches.
Pretty straightforward.
And also the song Mad Woman, where she says, the master of spin has a couple side flings. Good wives always know. And it's like she was talking about the whole song is about Scooter Braun, and it's about she has a billboard on his way to work. She would see her face, and he was like, and she talks about him, Scooter Braun and his wife, and she fucking calls out Scooter Braun for cheating, and then says, and so all of her fans
that is cold-blooded.
went on Scooter Braun's wife's page and wrote "Good wives always know," like hundreds and like thousands probably of
She
comments.
knew that was going to happen.
And then now they're divorced.
Are they really?
Yeah.
I didn't know they got divorced.
Yeah.
Wow. And they were like that perfect couple. She was like,
That's my only contention with Taylor Swift is that line. She wrote a bunch of lines.
you can't come back from that. You see 3,000 comments that your husband cheated on you. You're not.
That's my only beef with Tay Tay. And then when I become friends with her someday, I'm gonna ask her about it. But like, you can't. That was a recent lyric. I mean, that was off, I feel like, Evermore. And it was like, you knew what you were doing there, but that, you know, I've done things like that too, where you're just so vengeful, you need to like hurt someone as much as possible. And she also had a vendetta against that woman because that woman also really wronged her. So it wasn't like she was just going after his wife, like this innocent wife. The wife was in on it too.
She had an axe to grind. I prefer the Mean song, Vendetta.
Oh, the Mean song
That one
is
is
so
good to me. That one feels like the right way, a good way of doing it.
You're a liar and pathetic and alone in life and mean.
I don't remember that part. That's
is
pretty cruel too.
I know, isn't that so mean?
Oh my
All
God.
about like a music
At least
reporter.
it's straightforward, that one.
Well, we were talking about like jokes and joke writing and stuff like that. You're going to host Kimmel pretty soon, which I think is like a massive, cool, really awesome deal.
Yeah.
Now I know you did it like from like a home. It was like a remote thing during COVID.
It was so weird.
What is your approach to doing like, you know, the monologue for something like Kimmel?
And that's
Is
gonna
that
be
Talking
tonight.
about it on yesterday's show.
What's that, Noah?
That's going to be tonight. This episode is going to
Oh
air.
yeah, tonight I'm going to be on Kimmel tonight, so this will be Thursday's episode.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So tonight, check me out on Kimmel. Please watch. Send ABC a message that you like Nikki Glaser. You'd like her in your lineup at some point. I'm freaking out, Chris, because I said on yesterday's show, I woke up this morning and it's Tuesday. I'm hosting.
Jack.
And then I didn't brush my teeth, and I'm never going back.
And I hugged Jerry Seinfeld and he pushed me away.
And
I'm
then
not
I fucked
17.
a ghost, and now I'm doing the thing.
And I'm probably got my own gin brand. So, sorry.
That I'm
They all
doing
have
Bryan
gin brands, don't
Cranston.
Yeah, they do. I'm getting one
Tequila
too.
is. I'm gonna start one.
It's going to be called "You Were So."
It's gonna be called Just for Laughs. New faces.
I'm feeling weird that I am not worried about it at all. And can I just share why? And
Yeah, well, I've noticed that you were not.
I'm not thinking about
stressing
it at all.
Yeah.
Because if I do, then it gives merit to the fact that it's a huge deal, and then it won't start getting in my head. But I really want to treat it like I'm hosting a show every single day. And this is, I'm going to give it all my all, like I would if I did host a show. But there's something about the producers haven't reached out to me. So if they're not freaking out, I'm taking it as a sign, like they think I'm going to trust them. They know better than me if I'm going to be okay. Because there were sometimes, I remember during Dancing with the Stars that I'm like, but I have to practice all day, every day. And they were like, we've done this a lot. Trust us. 4 hours a day is all you need. And like, you don't need more than that. That will be a bad thing for you. And I just couldn't believe it. But I trust that these people know. They would be reaching out to me if they thought I had to. But I'm already thinking of jokes to write.
And I mean, one thing you've expressed to me is these guys are some of the best writers in television. They're so creative. They're some of the best producers.
Joyce.
Yeah, Jesse Joyce.
Jesse Joyce wrote like a bulk of Greg Giraldo's roast jokes.
Okay.
And worked with him for a really long time. I mean,
And
Greg
he was on
Giraldo
At Midnight.
Oh yeah, he was
prolific on that.
Dude, he's one of the best joke writers ever. And I have to say this, I'm so excited about the prospect of maybe ever hosting a late night talk show again, because the collaboration involved, like I thought, I wrote to them initially and said, hey, I really want to have a monologue that stands alone. It can go viral. And I go, isn't this really a cool, unique idea that I want to go viral? I was just like kind of already like rolling my eyes at myself for saying, like, who doesn't want to go viral with something?
Yeah.
But I do feel like I said, I want hard jokes. I want them to be like as perfect as roast jokes. I want to like really concentrate on them. Not a wasted one. And they were very excited. They were like, we're so excited that we're working with someone who understands the importance of like what this monologue could be. And that was a lot of you, Chris, being like, let them know like what you want, like communicate with them. Let them know this is a big deal to you. They will, this will mean something to them, that it means something to you.
Because they're among the best in the business. And I think you are as well. So it's like the collaboration between these two groups could lead to something really, really amazing.
I also think like leaning into the funny. Like I think, you hear a lot of stories about Fallon. Like he won't do certain jokes because it doesn't fit within this certain persona that he wants. And Kimmel is a little bit, I mean, as he's gotten older, he's a little less, dark or whatever, like showing, I obviously haven't watched his stuff in a while.
He's fearless.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kimmel is fearless.
So Nikki is, that's where I think you leaning into that as a writer too. Like most stand-up are, the darker the joke, the more we laugh. And the fact that you're leaning.
And I know that that's why my roast sets have crushed so hard and gone viral, because they're so dark and people, it stands out. And especially a girl doing it, like people just don't see it coming. So I do want to do that, but I have to toe the line of like ABC, CBS, anyone who's watching that's in network world, know that I am not going to do this kind of thing ever. So there's this like delicate balance. Even what I'm wearing, like we got into a little thing the other night because I got sensitive. I showed him what I was wearing and he was like, I like it. Like he gave me an adequate response. And then he was like, do you remember what Brie Larson wore when she guest hosted? And I was like, I know what she wore, Chris. I've heard about it before. You've already said it. And
it wasn't exactly in that order.
It was pretty.
I think I
close.
realized why you need vocal cord surgery.
Yeah, that's
no, that actually didn't hurt at all because I was in my like.
No,
upper,
I'm saying like from the
but
him just like saying outfits.
Like in a real moment though, like yes, like
what did Brie Larson wear?
She just wore something that was. It's just she looked fantastic. It was like perfect for her.
Put up a screenshot of it if we can afford it on the YouTube because it is great.
But
she is.
Well, what I quickly said was Nikki. I really liked what Nikki wore in her first Kimmel thing. It was one of my favorite things she's ever worn. I was getting text messages from people left and right about it. Like people were like, "This is amazing." So to me, that's the look. That's my favorite look. And then Brie Larson is my second favorite look. And then
I was a little worried because I said to Chris, I was like, some people are telling me like I should be sexy, and some people are telling me I shouldn't. And he was like, is it me? And I'm like,
I think I know what Chris is saying here, and I know there's a lot of cleavage.
No, it's so good.
But it's a great balance of extremely sexy, and then also, no one could get mad because it's like a tuxedo. So it's like, it's a balance of like, you're crushing both sides.
I'm sorry, you are not paying attention as much as if the boobs weren't out like that. But
the other thing is that you don't get really, Nikki's already chosen this outfit. There's nothing else is going to happen between now and the time she does it. So even if I didn't love it, or did there's nothing I can do about it at this point.
There was. We have time, and that's why I think I was so.
Here's my real deal opinion, and Andrew, I don't know how you feel this way.
Deal.
I personally
get on one knee when you say it.
have never. I personally have never seen people might not like this, but I've never seen a woman in a suit and thought this looks awesome to me. I've just never seen it. And so that's just been my opinion from the beginning. I think you look amazing.
This suit
that.
It's like side tits all the way down. It's going to be amazing.
I'm sure it is. But
Yes.
but that is just my own thing. I've just never seen it.
I find it. I don't know. Maybe wasn't there that video where Suit Studio or whatever, where they're all like slick back hair and
Did you say
like,
Suit Studio? No, I think it was Robert Palmer.
Addicted to Love.
Yeah, where they're.
Yeah.
But I think that's like a dress suit.
No, I really
studio.
do feel a lot of times.
Listen.
Wait, what is the words? What are the words?
Susu Studio.
Well, it's a made up thing.
Oh.
That's kind of the whole thing of why it's so stupid.
So I think I'm right.
Well, it wasn't the right video.
I think you're talking about Robert Palmer.
Yeah, I am.
Addicted to Love.
My point is like, if
You jerked off
I
to
think
that
a
before.
suit can be extremely feminine and really hot. Like with the,
I do find
think
that women
like
wearing suits, it's them leaning into a masculine thing, and I think the problem. I don't want to be too masculine on late. I don't want to like Chris and I were trying to think
I
of
get
like,
that
if I did
too.
late night show, what would it be like? And it's like the problem why there's no ladies in late night doesn't work is like because women are trying to fit into this masculine role. We need to feminize it a little bit to make us
That's
more
what
comfortable.
You've been
and
saying that for a
flourish.
while. Well, here's my stance on all of this stuff: is it doesn't matter. Like you're not doing it for the male gaze, and you're not doing it for me. Like that's just my preference. My actual opinion is wear the thing that you are going to be most comfortable in and feel like the
Most badass.
The most badass.
Yeah.
That is my opinion on everything that you ever wear.
Yeah.
But to
Well, thank
me,
you for
this
that.
Brie outfit, when I look at it, I see like a sailor suit. Like I see a sailor outfit.
But it's still
But
a dress.
No, I
And,
agree.
you know, now that I
Yeah,
look
because
at
you
it-
see a lot of semen on it
No,
in your fantasy.
now that I look at it again,
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
There you go.
But
That a boy.
look, your tit fell out on Fallon.
On Fallon,
So what are we? Everything's.
I
It's
know.
gonna be great. Whatever you wear is gonna be great.
"Quote unquote" fell out. No,
Oh
what
my
do you,
God, that was hell.
How do you feel about like the pantsuit situation?
I think it does have this connotation of serious, maybe like a little
Yes.
too serious for the moment.
Like I mean, business.
Yeah.
I realize that like dressing in that yellow dress for my special, every time I see it pop up on my feed, I'm like, oh, who's that?
Yes.
I want to watch this
Yeah.
because it's pleasing aesthetically to the eye, not because I'm like, I want to fuck myself, but because I'm like, that's a pretty girl that it's drawing the eye. And that's why I always told Andrew, like, care about lighting when you're shooting a video, like make it. And he goes, I don't care about lighting. I don't care if I look good. And it's like, but it's not about you. It's about, it draws the eye. That's why
Yeah.
when you put your phone in grayscale, you're not as drawn to it. Color, pops of color, like these are things that do attract the eye. So I made damn sure that my tits are out for this, but it is a really, I think I feel exactly what you're saying. The second I put it on, I was like, I almost started crying when I was pulling up the pants because they were so tight and they didn't really go on my thighs that well. But once the jaws of life were flown in, we got them on, and then I was like, this bitch is a television host. And I
Yeah.
felt so good.
Well,
And so
that's-
that was, that was my Andy Shallows. It was made it so I'm like, I'm able to encompass this role. That being said, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, I know that we're doing a field piece tomorrow, which we've done a lot of those together, Chris.
Oh yeah, you are going to be so.
I'm talking to
good.
That's
kids.
where you're. Oh,
And I
This
made
is-
a point. I said, I want to do a field piece. They sent, by the way, I just
Oh, where
wanted to
they
say,
ask, like,
the Kimmel
kids
people
questions?
sent me ideas for field pieces.
Yeah.
They're so good.
And they blew us away.
Yeah, they're so good.
I mean, I was like,
guys are
this
pros.
is top
Yeah.
notch. I'm so impressed. I'm so excited at the idea of working with you guys, or like ever having a show like this where I can hire people this fucking good that could, be, I don't know. I'm just like, God, if stand-up comedians hired writers, it would be insane. It's like, it's such a lone wolf pursuit. We could be so much better if we collaborated more.
yeah.
And a lot of those comics do. And I'm
When
not.
you close your eyes, do you think you were talking about MSG yesterday, or was it?
Madison Square. Yeah, I was talking about the additive they put in.
Yeah, and how you're still
Chinese
hungry
Chinese
after you
food.
eat. No, but you were thinking about like, oh, if I close my eyes, I can
Visualize
see
it.
myself playing. Do you see yourself as a talk show host? Because I see that. For
Yeah,
you.
I honestly see myself
Hell
walking
yeah.
in to work and like saying hi to people. That's how I picture that life. Is like the the writers' rooms, the like, watching all these Conan clips of him backstage with Sona
Knocking things out
a
of
cookie
people's
out of her hand,
Yeah.
just being silly with everyone and wearing like jeans pulled up high and like I don't
Giving
know.
someone a wet willy. And
Yes,
beating
just
the shit out
abusing
of
my staff.
abusing-
But here's the thing:
for
is,
my own.
what do you think?
Comic
walking on their
amusement.
backs with heels and
Yeah.
spikes. Yeah.
What are you most excited about? Because we've got a monologue, we've got field pieces, and then we've got
Danny DeVito.
guests.
Danny fucking
And you're
DeVito,
s-
dude.
You're
I'm
so
most
good at all of
excited
those.
about. Good night, everyone. Thanks for watching. Like that's when I'll
nailed
feel
that.
like that's what I'm most excited about, to be honest with you. But I'm excited about going. So check out this little piece we did. Like I'm excited because I know that field piece is going to be fucking great, because I remember when I did a speed dating thing the last time I hosted, they did a field piece where I speed dated online, and their editors were so good. They whipped together this thing that was so funny and all. I just know that I can trust them, that they're going to put together whatever I do with these kids. And I've been watching that Recess Therapy, I think is the name of the account.
yeah.
We were watching it last night. It's such a great account on Instagram, Recess Therapy. You've got to
Basically-
follow it.
Basically, like kids say the darndest thing, but for like Instagram.
But edited way better.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
like
oh, yeah,
sound effects.
absolutely.
And the guy is
I've
just
seen
so much
that
better
one.
than Bill Cosby, because he's not, raping
Something
them.
about wolves or
raping people.
Isn't that where the kid talks
Yeah,
about
it's like
eating
Komodo
people?
dragon, and they eat people.
I want to eat people.
I want blood. And
Who's the other guest? I'm sorry, I forget.
Jamila and Danny DeVito.
Yeah, she's from
a big deal, too.
ESPN.
No. She's from The
No?
Good Place. She
I'm thinking
I know
of
is
she's on
someone else.
She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And she brought
yeah.
a video that I'm gonna get tossed to, that we're gonna. And as soon as I heard she was announced, I was like, yes, because I have a rapport with her. She's funny. She's a good laugher.
smart.
You know what's
And
got to be
all I have
cool?
to do is set them up to be great. That's what a host does.
You know when I was lucky enough to go to your Fallon show, and when he comes in, he's like, so hey, how you doing? So what do you want to work? Like that little bit of like, you really feel like you made it if you come in as the host, and it's just that little
I
conversation.
know. Do
of
I
like,
drop by and say hi to
Yes.
Danny DeVito? I believe I
Yes.
do.
Oh yeah.
You have to.
Be
He's
a
so
Because he
great
doesn't know
host.
who I am.
You remember when when
probably.
Seth Meyers dropped in on you?
Oh my God, we had broken up that day.
We broke it up that day.
That morning.
And Nikki was like, just
well,
come.
let's talk about it when we get back from break.
Okay.
Okay. Because
Damn.
this is such an insane story,
Let's,
and I
wrap
have
up this
teased
relationship.
it, but I have not gone into it. I'm so glad you're here for it. So we'll go
okay.
into as much as you want, but I think it's so funny. We'll be back right after this. Okay, so
to me, it's less about
Seth
the
Meyers.
stuff that happened before.
I
and
know,
just
but
the
it-
moment that
okay, well that's a good point. Why do I always have to take it to like you need to know the whole story?
you're like, so Just for Laughs was created in
yeah. So we're in the green room with
1975.
Pete Holmes.
Yeah.
And they're like, please don't go back to that story.
And Josh, the agent,
Did
was born
Schumer
in,
crush it that night?
She
Did
was
she go
at the,
before or
she
after
was
you?
already killing it on Last Comic Standing. And so she flew in, like she could barely even fit it in her schedule. It was like such an afterthought to her. So of course she did. Yeah. And she was, even then she was as
Did
confident.
it make you more nervous? Did she go before you or after?
It was the first time I met her. We had been MySpace friends for
Oh,
a while.
I thought you
We
were-
reached out to each other and would talk on the phone all the time. We developed our friendship long distance, and then we met.
So
at
the first time
Hyatt.
she ever seen you do stand up was that set.
No, we had watched each other on like clips of each other
but
and been
like
like
live, like
yeah. We were on different shows too, so she didn't even see mine.
Okay,
but
anyhow, sorry. So go ahead. So Seth Meyers.
But Seth Meyers, we're backstage, and I only preface it with that because we had a rough morning.
We'd had a rough morning.
And we were broken up at this point. Like we had already broken up. And then I go, please, I just really want you at Seth Meyers. We'll probably work on this, but even if we stay broken up, I'd still want you there. Like just come with me and
See,
help.
that's a person that I could never be. I don't think. Like if I just broke up with someone, I'm like, okay, we broke up, but you come to a big event in my life. Where,
Well, it
like,
doesn't
it's
change
just-
that I still love
No,
you
I
and
know.
want your support.
I know
Like,
it's very mature.
that's
Like
what-
I don't know if I could do
I
it.
don't understand how people can do that.
And these moments are so
I don't
big.
think- yeah.
For Glaze, like you just want her to be in her best.
Yeah.
mind.
So you
And,
probably
yeah.
had trouble going at some point, right? Or were you feeling like,
No, but one of my favorite things afterwards was when I told people, I met Rob Reiner, and within 1 hour, me and Nikki were broken up.
We broke up in the morning. He went to Seth Meyers. Then I went to go interview with Rob Reiner. We had those were so much fun. We were really connected during that. We still needed to talk about the breakup and like see if it was going okay. We made up after the Rob Reiner thing. We were like, we're going to be good. Then we broke up again in that same conversation after we were like, we're back together. This was ridiculous this morning.
We broke up in frustration in the morning, and then we broke up as like adults for like a logistical
Okay.
reason.
Well, I was an adult, but I'm just.
You were an adult?
I was kidding.
This is juicy. Pan in. Now this should be your Jimmy Kimmel.
It was.
This should be the Kimmel.
You're right.
by
We broke
the
up
way,
in a
she
panic in
is
the
joking.
morning. Yeah,
She was not an adult in the morning.
no, in the morning I was
She was not an
child.
adult. Yeah. Yes.
And at night we were we
were
were
both
adults.
adults.
Yeah, we were. We both were like, this. We've talked it out. We talked for like an hour and a half. An hour of that, we were like, this can work. I was like, oh my God, I'm
Yeah.
gonna marry this guy. I remember thinking like, whoa, for the first time in a really long time, I'm like, this has the potential to be lifelong. Like I could see myself with this person and the stuff we're talking about forever. And I was like, God, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here when this morning I was like, there's no chance for this. And then within a half hour of feeling that, we start down another road and it
dissolved the
leads
whole
to a
thing.
complete breakup. And it was like an hour and a half after meeting Rob Reiner.
But prior to that,
What a day.
Prior to that, Seth Meyers. So we
Insane.
we broke it up.
Bookended by breakups.
I show back up at Seth Meyers, and we were very happy to see each other.
Yes. And we were kissing, like just being like, come here. Let's just like enjoy this moment. Like that was ridiculous this morning. We're still kind of broken up, but like it's funny that we are. So we're like, he's leaning over my suitcase. I'm on the other side of it. And we're like kissing, like meeting in the middle and like having a moment like, I love you too. Like kissing.
Yeah.
And then Seth Meyers like, hey, walks in and just, I think he was like standing there witnessing it for a while.
Yeah,
and it was
It was
just
really,
like,
really bad for me.
and then I go,
Wait, why
well,
was
we
that
broke
bad
up this
for you?
morning. I'm
It
just
just
kidding.
was like it just felt
Embarrassing.
humiliating all
'Cause it's
around.
very
Yeah, Chris is
vulnerable.
private about
Yeah.
PDA and stuff like that, which you should be.
I'm
You know,
private about everything, like even this conversation.
Yeah, you're.
I'm proud of you.
Okay, thank you.
What
I
was
really
more
am.
embarrassing? Getting walked in with the denim jacket on, or Seth Meyers seeing
good
you
question.
kissing
The Seth
Nikki?
Meyers one too, because like it just wasn't. It's not that like the best.
It's not a cool look.
No,
It looks
it's not
like
a
you're
cool
just a
look.
boyfriend that's like, I want attention. Like,
No, it wasn't about that for me. It was more about like you. It was time for you and him to have a moment, and he walked in.
On your moment.
He didn't have a clean slate.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I ruined his moment with Nikki.
Oh my God.
From my perspective,
it made my moment. It's memorable now. Otherwise, it would have been, oh, he was nice, but it was like so funny. Yeah, it was.
and
I
then
really
he
do.
and then he
So
elbowed-
something has to happen at Jimmy Kimmel between you two. That's like something spicy.
well, he's
Either
going to
an
be in
engagement or
Iceland.
I'm gonna be in Iceland.
No.
Yeah, he's going to be in Iceland. I don't know how you're going to.
You gotta
watch
follow
it.
I'm gonna
the
be
mountain.
hanging out with
Yeah, yeah.
lava.
Yeah, you're going to be.
I'm gonna be. I'm so excited about Iceland.
I'm
going to see
sure.
We're gonna
volcanoes.
see like lava.
This trip is so fucking
and the
ridiculous.
Northern Lights.
Lava's wild.
Did you see
man.
Hamish's eye?
Yes, Hamish and Vaughn within the last 2 weeks have both gotten stung
His friends.
near the eye by a bee
While biking.
while biking.
My dad got that too while biking and
Do
almost
you run
died.
into the bee or the bee?
The bee flew down his shirt, and my dad was freaking out so much that he flipped his bike, and his tooth went through his chin, and he had to have stitches. And that's why we coined, when a joke is really funny, we call it a lip grabber, because my dad, whenever he would smile, he would have to hold his lip because it would split open because of the stitches. So he'd go, "Oh, that's a real lip grabber." It was all because of a bee. But his friend Hamish Blake, who you gotta follow on Instagram because he does the funniest stuff.
He might be the funniest man alive.
Hamish and Andy, and yeah, he's going on a trip with these guys, and
Same
oh my
with
God.
Andy.
Yeah, Andy Lee as well. I
They're
mean,
both going.
Andy's not. Hamish is.
No, Andy's not going. Hamish is going. But yeah, both of these guys, these are two of the funniest people on the planet, and they've got a show called Hamish and Andy. And I mean, it's so charming, so funny. If people just want a no-brainer, like Ed Sheeran, Hamish and Andy, you will get a really good idea of who these guys are.
Yeah, if you're ever at a thing around a computer and trying to make people laugh, whether it's your mom, I mean, these guys are clean, they're family friendly. They are universally maybe the most funny people that have ever lived. And I cannot believe the U.S. has not like just grabbed onto them and forced them to be here because they are so fucking good.
Yeah.
But Hamish and Andy, I would Google Hamish and Andy Ed Sheeran. That one was great. Hamish and Andy, what's the pickup artist one, or the pickup wingman?
Wingman, Ultimate Wingman.
Ultimate Wingman.
When he was the bodybuilder, that was very.
Oh,
funny.
the bodybuilder. Yeah, I produced that.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris met them on the show that they did in America.
What? So you get your eye stung by a bee. Does that affect your sight, or is he worried?
I don't think
about
he got stung like in the eyeball.
Yeah.
It was just like
all
really
puffed
close,
up.
and so both of their eyes got all puffed up. So we're sending each other pictures back and forth. And Hamish, we got one from Vaughn that was like his eye was swelled
Yeah.
shut. And Hamish just got one too.
You got to get one.
I gotta get one.
We got to get
Somebody
you
punch
stung.
me in the
I'll
face.
knock the fuck
I have
out.
been
Yo, we
dying
got to get stung. Getting stung feels like it's gonna be like a new thing.
Get stung.
That's
Well, Hamish
why-
has a hilarious video up this morning of like being like, guys, and he's covering up his eyes. Like, I went to the doctor. I had some work done. What do you think? And it just looks like he just had a bunch of, facial surgery. And he's like, listen, I know this is probably, I don't know. It still has to like settle in. I might get the other one done. The doctor, I'm a little suspicious. It was a B. He is,
The
and he was like, you go, where is his training? Like, and he goes, and now he's dead. So that's going to be that's a little bit of a red flag. It's so cute, so funny. Hamish Blake is his name. And you can search him on Instagram and you'll see that he has 1.2 million followers. So you're not going to be alone in thinking he's hilarious. Final thought.
You're doing an 11-day. Or is it 11 day or
Yeah,
11?
it's like I think we're gonna be together for like 10, 11 days.
Boys
And we're
trip.
gonna be bike riding, and yeah, it's basically like an
where do
excuse
y'all?
to,
Where are
like,
you
take pictures
sleeping?
of each other.
Yeah. You all do a group in
Cabins, hotels.
front of, maybe like a sock on
Resorts.
the cock in front of a lava.
Well, they have their bags.
No, I'm this.
all
guys,
of their bags are on a Hummer type car that's going to drive from place to place.
It's like
and
an
meet you at your destination.
It's like a huge adventure van. It's like a follow van, so that it's going to take us to different places, and then we're going to ride for.
How many miles
Some of them I think are like 70 miles.
a day?
Yes, some of the rides, and then some of them are more about like going up the mountains. Some of them are more about like
Getting to this
cranking
town.
out distances, and like going through cool areas.
Going
So
to a hot spring. So
Do you bring your own bike?
usually we do. This time we're getting bikes when we get over there.
Gotcha.
they do this every year. It has been delayed 2 years in a row because of Coco
Coco.
and
Coco.
Conan O'Brien.
Here's my
Yeah.
recommendation about things like this. If you have a group of friends,
Because that's a lot.
it's so hard to get together, especially as you get older. It's just people have kids and all these things happen. But there is something about getting a small group of friends. This is 5 of us, so it's me plus 4 other guys. It's so important to have like adventure trips on the books with friends you don't get to see very often. You get to text all year long about how excited you are, and then the next half of the year is about how great it was. And then you put another trip on the books, and then it's the anticipation. If you plan something 6 months out with your friends, you guys are getting excited about it for 6 months.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, before trips, me no excited, no matter what it is. Even girls trip, Noah, I was like stressed about like, the travel and like everyone getting there and like we have to get the right food and make sure, like I get stressed by that stuff.
Yeah, but you're on the road constantly. Like Noah, were you stressed about it? Were you thinking like
I always
I'm nervous
stress.
about it? Was it
I always stress
Yeah.
about travel. Like the act of traveling, I do not enjoy it. I don't enjoy packing or preparing for it.
neither.
But once I'm in the other place, I lose all of that and I enjoy myself.
Yeah.
I know it's worth it, and you just got to remember that it's always like that. I remember Noah having a sense of relief on the girls' chat right before the trip when one person asked, like, "Hey, are we going to any like nice dinners or anything?" And I was like, "Guys, I don't plan on us
leaving that.
leaving.
Yeah.
Like, I
Love that.
This is what I'm bringing. We are not dressing up. Like, no one's. And honestly, we can all share each other's clothes. We're all around the same size." And she was just like,
And we did.
Oh, thank you so much. I needed to hear that.
I think depending on how long the trip is, travel is more important. So, like, let's say you have a 10-day trip. Oh no, my flight got delayed. I lost a day. You still have 9 days. Like,
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like that weekend for
I'm not
you.
worried about the delays. I'm worried about just.
But aren't
everything
you
running
worried about the?
smoothly and
I'm worried about once
But you
we
only
get
had a
there, like,
weekend. You only had 2 nights there.
I
or
wasn't
3
worried about the
nights.
travel at all, like of delays. That for some reason
So, what was
not
the
bad.
travel part then?
I was worried about. I was honestly more worried about everyone getting there in time, making sure everyone had
That's what I'm
the
saying.
right.
Delays.
No. Well, no, just like people.
It's just making sure that
I
people
just felt
are
people feeling alone, not feeling like they have a
Yeah.
friend. Like
it's like things running smoothly and people having fun. Like worried about 11 girls' emotions and making sure that they're having a good time.
yes.
It's got to weigh on you
11
a little bit.
girls that you've brought together. You're
Also,
the
what
nucleus of
What
this.
are you packing for this trip? You need like some
Oh my
workout
god, he's been
gear.
packing so.
Oh,
he has so
actually,
much.
I guess
been packing for like a
the only
week.
way a guy like yeah.
We gotta get to Fanthrax. Holy shit!
We
I
gotta
forgot
get to-
about it. Yeah, Fanthrax, please. Thank you, Avi, for
Was
that.
that you? Is that why you had to get surgery? That's Nikki free
I
surgery.
miss that voice.
Oh my god, that's so funny. That's good. I liked it. All right, Noah.
All right. So let's start off with Kyle.
Hi, besties. It is your bestie Kyle calling from Orlando. I miss hearing you guys 4 times a week. Nikki, I hope you're getting the rest that you need right now. And I'm eager for
Thank you,
you
Kyle.
all to be back whenever you're able to. I'm calling today because, Nikki, you've helped me really identify a lot of addiction that I have had consistently in my life. Most recently, I've been trying to cut out weed. I've smoked pretty much every day for the past 5 years. And I am someone that has a lot of anxiety, and I think weed really triggers panic in me a lot of the time. And with that, I've experienced quite a bit of hair loss. I'm 23 years old, and I feel the same way about my hair that Taylor Swift said she feels about her body and her eating in her documentary when she said that it has the strength to control her whole entire life. That's literally how I feel. I know that I don't need to go into that a lot because you probably know exactly what I'm talking about also. Whenever I smoke, I literally could feel hair follicles just getting zapped off of my head. I don't know. So I cut out weed recently. It's been about 5 days without it now. I've had a really unhealthy relationship with it, and I'm kind of struggling right now because I don't know if it's benefiting me or not to not be smoking weed at least once a day.
Right.
I don't know. I wish I had more time. I love you so much.
I love you, Kyle. Holy
Yeah.
shit. 5 days is amazing. And I do want to say that Alan Carr now has a weed solution. And Alan Carr was the one that I used to quit smoking cigarettes and drinking. And recently I talked to them and I was like, why don't you guys have a weed one? And they were like, oh, we do. And so you could look into that. There's also Marijuana Anonymous, MA, and you could Google that. And there's Zoom meetings happening all over if you want to get support for that. There's also the subreddit Leaves for people who are leaving marijuana. And there's a lot of support there that has helped me so much in getting me. It's just people that are relapsing all the time and being I wish I wouldn't have done that. But listen, man, if you've heard me talk about this before, the best way to let go of this is to be very nice to yourself about it. So if, let's say by the time I've heard this message, you're already smoking again, which I'm guessing you are, because it sounded like you were a little bit what is this even doing for me? And which is always the kind of thing I think about right before I start doing it again of am I even my life is still shit and this isn't even working. Just allow yourself to have it and know that it's the only thing you have right now to cope with your feelings. And if you are accepting of that and being I'm not a bad person, I'm just trying to feel good. If you're not driving, you're not harming other people and you're just harming yourself. There's really nothing to feel bad about. No one wants to feel bad. No one wants to be an addict. So just be kind to yourself and know that if you're smoking weed, that you're doing it because you're in pain, right? And if there was a other solution, you would fucking do it. But there's not, clearly. But there are ones out there. You just haven't found them yet.
Yeah.
And so be nice to yourself because that's the only way it's going to go away. Because if you're mean to yourself about it, the only way to soothe the anxiety you feel after being mean to yourself is to smoke more weed. And so it'll just make you do more. And the hair loss thing.
Yeah, it seems connected. He's sad about, probably a lot, but the hair loss,
my
what
God, when I
comes
was
first,
losing hair.
the sadness of the hair loss, and then you turn to weed to try to, escape it. But really, it's just it's compounding.
Yeah, I don't think weed is making your hair
Yeah.
fall out, but it's certainly when you get high, you're super aware of things and
Yes.
things feel different and your sensory
My
stuff is
my
off.
grandpa Marvin, he was bald since he was 20
And he was
so was
a
mine.
huge stoner.
He had a story where he didn't smoke weed a lot, but he'd go on fishing trips in Panama, and he's I was at the El Gato Negro, and it was the name of the bar, and he's I was so high, I could feel my hair grow. It was the opposite.
Yeah.
effect. He's so bald.
I
and it just
I really do think you're right. The anxiety of losing your hair, and that is
Yeah,
you're
it's
losing your hair because you have that gene. You're not losing it necessarily because you're smoking weed. I don't think the two are connected, but what do I know? I'm sure you could have Googled it and it is connected in some way. It's not helping for sure because inhalation of smoke just cuts off blood flow and it's just not good for you. I would really forgive yourself for losing your hair because you didn't choose to. If you could push a button and have hair, you would. You're not a bad person because you're losing your hair. You just got a different set of genes than other people that have full heads of hair. And Also, like, toupees look fucking great right now. They do. And also, you maybe don't have the money for it, but hair transplant is always an option. There's things down the road that you'll be able to do. And you're obsessing over the hair because there's something else going on here.
Well, no, I mean, the hair thing is very real
It's real.
for especially for young men that are losing hair. I'm 40 and my stuff is receding and thinning at a level that I'm not comfortable with. So Kyle, I have a hint of what you're going through, but I mean, I'm sure at a younger age, it's much tougher, and that
Yes.
it takes a toll on you, and that will lead, you know, if you've got a few
Man.
other things going on, a hair loss situation for a young man will help put you into a bit of a spiral. So it is really, really tough, and I definitely understand to a certain extent what you're going through, and I'm sorry that you're going through that.
I really would avoid any kind of thing that is going to make you feel worse about not having hair. Like, sometimes I like to look up men like this look that I don't have, and I really surround myself with that thing I don't have, and I'm like, it validates you are worthless because you.
Yeah.
So don't read stuff about how women or men. I don't know who your affinity is for, or maybe no one. Maybe you're asexual. I don't fucking know. But whatever's making you feel like this is gonna hold me back in life, stop reading and consuming those things, because it's not true. Like, baldness, fucking look at Bezos. You can be.
Well, he has $100 billion.
Well, I know, but it can inspire you to do other things, and
Oh, yes.
Also, my first boyfriend was bald. I didn't give a fuck. I don't know. I'm kind of bald blind, height blind. If you love someone, and remember the day I realized, oh my God, I love this man, was when you were talking about not wanting to take a medication because you heard a side effect was hair loss. And I was like, I almost laughed because I was like, I would never care if you were bald. It just wouldn't register to me. But I understand. I'm not invalidating.
I don't think you're invalidating.
It
It is tough because some people will be like, oh, you could just go, if this is happening to you, just go Statham and just do this. And, a lot of this stuff, it isn't an option for a lot of people. And
No, it
some people
isn't.
will be like, Propecia does work for a lot of men, but there's a small percentage where there's a small side effect that is horrible. And then there's minoxidil, which actually does work. I'm sure Kyle,
I'm using stuff right now. I spray it on my head.
And there are little things that you can do to help, but that doesn't. It's the emotional impact of it's you're confronting that your deteriorating body at a very young age.
Yes.
And Kyle, there's other guys that are feeling the way you do, and I know that doesn't help either. But a lot of men are going through this, and there are people that are working on solutions, but there are minor solutions that work for some men that you can find. Some of those are on Reddit, and you can find them there. But minoxidil, there's studies, it does work.
Starts with an
I
F
do
too,
recommend-
finasteride or whatever. I put both on my head.
I think
I've been doing it every night, and honestly, it feels thicker here. My brother's fully bald. Mm-hmm. It's funny. I was like, Dan, I think I'm going bald. I don't know. And he's like, you're 42. You made it. Like that's the other thing to think about. You made it to.
Well, that's not helping Kyle.
No,
The other
it's
thing
not.
about
I know,
the
but
other
it's
thing
helping
about
maybe
Kyle-
Chris.
The other thing about I've come to terms with it in some degree, but I understand what Kyle's going through. And the other thing that he's going through, and this is a tough one, is he addicted to weed? Does he have addiction issues?
Yeah.
Or is he depressed and this is just a coping mechanism? I think that's a
Yes.
tough thing to identify. And if he does have addiction issues, all of these things, all addiction issues will get worse and worse and worse until they're addressed. And I do agree with everything that Nikki said. But if you do think you have addiction issues, it's, there are obviously programs out there that can help you, and it will continue to get worse.
I really, the last time I stopped smoking weed, it fell away, Kyle, because I read the first third of the book, Coming Alive. I'm not kidding you. There is a tool in there about impulsive behavior, things you want to do impulsively, and how to deal, whether it's acting out sexually, acting out with drinking. There's this one tool that they talk about in the very beginning of it. The first third, and I've had one desire to smoke weed since then, and I use that tool again to go, okay, focus on the desire. Okay, imagine, just feel inside yourself. They kind of run through these steps that I run through, and then it goes away. So that is also something, but I really do recommend, if you're ever able to get into a 12-step program for anything that you have, and this is to anyone listening, whether it's you have an alcoholic in your life and you could go to Al-Anon. Literally everyone qualifies for Al-Anon because everyone is friends with at least an alcoholic or works next to one or something. Those support groups are incredible, and it's free, and you will find people there that it's not all talking about the addiction. It's talking about it teaches you how to love yourself, because that is what the core problem with addiction is that you feel not enough. You feel this dis-ease with your own self. You're not enough. You got to consume something to get out of the feelings. And it's just really helped a lot of people that I'm very close to. That might even be me.
Yeah, I mean, but one of the people I'm most close to in my life is somebody who's been sober for 14 years, and he went from being, just like, a normal, slightly, a bit not friendly sometimes, to now being the happiest person I know.
Happiest person I know.
And he has worked the steps, and he has embraced the program, and he's the happiest person that I know.
Yeah, if there's something to it. Okay, can we do one more, Noah?
Yes, please. And Nikki, I need you to promise that you will not scream when you hear this.
Oh my God. Taylor Swift. Go on.
Promise me.
Okay,
You're not
no
gonna
screaming.
scream.
I won't
Okay.
scream. Let's pretend I'm in silent mode.
All right. We got Rebecca.
Hi, Nadruki, OG Pod listener Rebecca from Philly here. As a part of the exclusive Bestie and Swiftie gang, I feel like it's my duty to let Nikki know that the soundbite from Welcome Home, Nikki Glaser, where she talks about how Taylor Swift is her best friend but doesn't know her, is now on TikTok. It has been used in several videos, and those videos have actually been liked by Taylor Swift herself. There have been no other developments in potential friendship goals, but just know I'll be looking out in my own personal mission called Besties, Anal Eyes, Swifties. And so, yeah, thank you guys. Love you. Love the pod. Love Brenna. Kisses. And janitor. Bye.
Janitor. Nice.
Can you react how Nikki should have reacted, Andrew? And then Noah, you do one.
What?
Noah, can you do a Nikki? How?
What? I can't even do the high pitch.
Wait, will you do an impression of what I would say right now? Like your best guess at what?
At what you would do? Well, I like the Anya one where you're just like, well, that's out of frustration. What if I did my Little John impression? No, I don't have one.
I think that's what I kind of did.
Okay, my response to this is, okay, Taylor Swift obviously knows I exist, all right? So she's commented on my Instagram before, my apology to her. She has also, there have been fans of mine that have met her backstage, and they've been like, oh, Nikki Glaser loves you, do you know her? And she goes, is that the girl that said I'm a bad dancer? So I want to go on record and say that I did say Taylor Swift was a bad dancer once, because I justified being on Dancing with the Stars, because I was like, Taylor Swift's not a good dancer, and she does it, and she looks cool, so maybe
Compliment.
I could. And it was not right. It was not how I actually feel about Taylor Swift's dancing. I actually think she's way better than me. That bitch can do the splits on a car. Like I've tried to learn the dances she learns. They are very difficult. She's a good dancer. So she's aware of me. I've met her. But this is really good news. And I am fucking, like, my insides are, like, things are happening inside my body right now, because Taylor Swift does not often like things. And that's how she operates. She's very shifty in a great way. She's Swifty. She gets
Swifty.
And she likes things to just remind us, the Swifties, like, I'm very aware of
I'm
stuff.
seeing it,
I cannot
yeah.
believe no one else has told me this. Thank you so much for being on the lookout. Please DM me personally any updates and write Taylor Swift update if you see any more likes. Please send me videos where this is being used, because I am not on TikTok. I do not see this clip being used. I do know that it was a great soundbite, and I'm glad the Swiftie community has embraced it. But
What's the saying? What was the saying one more time?
I said Taylor Swift is my best friend, and she doesn't know it. Or something like that. It was something like that. But it really is, like, I feel that way. The other day, Phoebe Bridgers, it was her birthday, and I was like, I have to wish her happy birthday, because I spend more time with Phoebe Bridgers than I do with any of my friends, really.
Yeah.
Like, she's talking to me and singing to me constantly. And it feels like we're friends. And that's why whenever someone says, I feel like you're my friend, or someone goes, you're my Taylor Swift, I'm always like, I get it, girl or guy.
Yeah, I try to reach out to Whitney Houston constantly.
Yeah, through the Ouija board.
Yeah.
You're in the best.
I spend so much time
Anything?
because I watch The Bodyguard all
Have
the
you got
time.
anything back?
I
No,
just want
not
to close
once.
by showing you my first headshot.
Oh, God.
Actually, I want to close by showing you a book of my first headshots, and just like,
There's a whole book?
yeah,
They wrote a book about it? Oh, my God. Yo, I've seen these.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love
These are so.
I love your face in these. Oh, my God.
It's like your own yearbook.
It is so insane. But I do this picture. This was the girl that went to Montreal and drank too much. This was before that.
That's up
This
in
was
Bloomington.
2006.
That's up in the Bloomington.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I love this fresh face girl.
This
I'm a
was
huge
15
fan.
years ago. Is this even reminiscent on my face now? Like, what's going on? How have I aged?
Yes, there's definitely
You've
hints
aged
of it
very
in
well.
here.
I mean,
I feel like
she's just like a little
I
Are
would
you
say,
a brunette?
You're fresh
More
faced,
spry.
and you're like there's like a cherubic quality to them.
I'm still doing my makeup the exact same way, and my hair was very full. That red is a good color on me. That's a nice reminder.
This is a
my
great
eyebrows
headshot.
look a little spermy, but that's okay. My bottom lip or my top lip is non-existent, which it usually is. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't look so different, but she is. She's got a lot more fat on her face.
she's completely
which is
adorable.
what a baby face is.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a cutie. She's got a lot to learn, girl. You're gonna go.
What
through
would you
so
say to
much.
that girl right there?
I'd say, bitch, read Alan Carr sooner than later. And then I have this picture of me and Chris at a wedding.
Noah, what would you say to this girl?
The show is over, and
Yeah.
we gotta go.
Okay, sorry.
I'm mesmerized by these.
Oh well, I gotta put some of those on my Instagram story because they're.
Please put them. Oh God,
Dude, this is the type of headshot you take when they're like, we want to give them different looks, like so you could play a librarian role, and it's like, how many librarian roles are coming up that I have to do this sexy like?
I mean, this might be the most relatable looking person I've ever
really
seen in my life.
Why didn't I book anything from it?
I don't know.
All I got was that
so
book.
funny.
I know that was us. Not that long ago.
All you booked was this book.
Yeah. All right, guys, we got to go. Thank you so much for listening to the show this week. We will be back next week with 4 shows. It will be the last week before I go on break, but we were going to have content for you during the break. So make sure to check out those episodes. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Come see me in Vegas September 2nd. Go see Andrew at Zany's in Nashville on the 30th. If you can, please plan trips around those dates. That would be so fun.
trips with your friends.
And meet and greets afterwards.
Yeah.
Trips with friends. Things to look forward to. Love you guys so much.
Love you,
Thank you for
besties.
listening. Don't be Kit and
Jupiter.
Is that a thing?
I don't know anymore with these things.